Hey, what is up, guys? My name is Jaden Yuki, coming at you with a new deck profile here. Yeah, it's definitely been a long time since I've uploaded. I've been in college recently, and it's been a lot. But yeah, definitely coming back at you with some new deck profiles, some new fight videos. Thank you to the new awesome standard format. You know, we can make me and Pengu can make a lot of new content. So without further ado, let's get into this deck profile. Obviously, for the starter, you got Glime, I guess, in the dub. Starter, you ride on him and you draw, which is, he stays in the soul, which is really, really good for those soul saver plays. So, then you have, forget that, you have all these force markers, because force, use the force. May the force be with you. You have all that stuff, all that good stuff. Moving on to the actual deck, you have, for grade 3s, you have King of Knights Alfred. This should definitely be a 3 or 4. I gotta get the last one. I feel like 3 is a comfortable ratio. 4, I feel like, can definitely be overkill. But if you want to run 4, totally go ahead. 3, I think, is the preferred ratio, though. Then you have the 2, Alfred early. Definitely one of these should at least be King of Knights Alfred, but, I'm poor. Then you have the 3 Soul Saver Dragon. A lot of people run 4 of this as well. I like the comfortable ratio of at least 3 King of Knights, 1 Alfred early, and then the 3 Soul Saver. But if you want to turn this into a Soul Saver as well, that totally works as well. Moving on to the grade 2s, you have your 4 Blaster Blade. And Blaster Blade is Blaster Blade. I mean, Blaster Blade as a skill, you counterblast 1, soul blast 1 when he's placed. You choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row and kill it. And then on Vanguard, if you have 4 more rear guards, he gains a crit, which is pretty good. Definitely helps with that early game pressure. Say you have a couple of Kanes in your hand. You call those. You call the 2 Pongos with their skill, and then Blaster Blade will gain a crit because you have 4 rear guards. So those are that's not that bad. Then obviously you have the 4 High Dog Breeder Akane. Akane is one of the most versatile cards in this deck because of the fact that when she's placed, all you do is counterblast 1, you call a Pongo from deck, and if she's boosted by a high beast, she gains 3,000 power. So boosted by Pongo, the Pongo that she calls, you'll have a 21k, which is an automatic 15k guard on grade 2 at least. So it does definitely gets those triggers out of hand early game. And so yeah, so she definitely calls Pongo, which Pongo is, I'll get to Pongo in a second, his ass. But then the last grade 2, I play the 3 Knight of Silence Galatine. If you guys want to play the other guy, the 15k attacker, you guys can go play him too. I've been playtesting around a lot with Galatine and Joran. Yeah, that's his name. Joran, and I found that you can either go the aggressive way and play Joran, which is a 15k attacker, or you can go the defensive route, play this guy because he's a 10k shield, and that definitely helps out with defense because sometimes you might find yourself running out of cards in your hand, and that definitely helps. So there we go. You have 11 grade 2s. Moving on to the grade 1s, you have the best fucking grade 3. You have the best fucking grade 1 in this deck, probably one of the best cards in this deck, which is Pongal. When it's placed on rear guard, if you have another unit in the same column, you soul charge 1. And if it's a trigger, it gains 5,000 power. So he soul charges. If it's a trigger, he gains half the power, basically. And he soul charges and sets up a lot of your plays for Soul Saver Dragon, because Soul Saver Dragon requires 5 soul to activate his skill. You soul blast 5 and everything on your field gains plus 15. So this guy definitely helps out, which is also why Akane is so needed in this deck, because Akane will call out Pongo soul charges. So there are times when I'd be on grade 2, and this Akane is placed on van or rear. You can deactivate your skill. So you either ride Akane or call 2 Akanes or whatever. I'd have a couple of Akanes in my hand, and I'd end up by I could potentially use this guy my first ride. So it's really, really good. Pushes for or for early damage. Moving on to the next grade 1, you run 4 Little Sage Marin. Marin has a skill that when anything is placed on the same column as him, you counterblast 1 and you draw a card, and Marin gains 3,000 power, which is really good. I do find he ends up eating a lot of my counterblasts. Him and Alfred, definitely him, Alfred, and Akane are the 3 that eat up the counterblast the most. If it came down to it, you don't always have to use his skill, but early game, you definitely want to use Akane's skill. But then late game if you want more cards in hand, or even early game if you want more cards in hand. Just this guy's really good, really good. Next, you run the 4 Knight Squire Allen. Definitely, I've seen people run like 2 or 3 Allen, and then whatever ratio they have the opposite with Lion Mane Stallion. Stallion is okay. The only thing is that he just requires 4 rear guards to gain 3,000 power. Allen, if I want that early game draw, he can draw me a card and gain a little bit of power. So it's really personal preference. The last grade ones we run are the 2 Knight of Rose Morgana and then the 1 Tech Wingle. And Morgana has a skill that when it attacks, you Soul Blast 1, she gets plus 3,000 power, or if it's a grade 3 that you're on, she gains 9,000 power instead. So by herself, potentially, if you want to Soul Blast 1, she's a 17k beat stick, which is really, really good on grade 1. And because if you're really trying to push for that early damage, because this guy soul charges so much, you can afford that 1 soul. And but if you don't have this guy, then don't use your skill. And then obviously Wingle, all the Blaster Blade in the same column as this unit gain 5,000 power. So it's just a nice little booster. It becomes a 13k booster essentially. So moving on to the grade 0s. You guys should probably know what the trigger lineup should be, but if you guys don't, you have the 8 critical triggers because that's really all we can run. You have the 4 draw perfect guards, and then you have the 4 lane. So that's really about that. I mean, like, there's nothing really to say. In the standard decks, they really make it standard, as in because you have all these, decks, and you can build them semi-differently, but, like, honestly, the triggers are always going to be pretty much the same, because these, right now, obviously, these are the only triggers, besides, I think, fucking, like, Margle, and that are Royal Paladin. So, like, if you wanted to run, like, 8 draw triggers, I wouldn't recommend it, but, I mean, you totally can. But that's up to you. And yeah, so that's the triggers. So yeah, that is it for the deck profile, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I again haven't posted in a really long time, but I actually really want to make videos for you guys again. Vanguard's a passion of mine, and hopefully I can do that because Vanguard's still really fun. I still enjoy the game. I haven't died. I'm still alive. But yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you guys stayed this far, you guys are true Jaden Yuki fans. If you guys are still subscribed, you guys are still true Jaden Yuki fans. But thank you guys for watching. This is Gaga Guy Xyz 2000 signing off. Later.